Morning, everybody. It's Friday morning, heading down to Table Rock for an instructional jerkbait fishing trip. It's 19 degrees out right now. It's supposed to warm up to, I think, in the 30s or something today, so which is pretty typical about wintertime fishing. But you know, when I got up this morning and I saw the ice and snow on the boat, it made me think a little bit about doing a little YouTube video on how to properly deal with cold weather, because that's if you like to spend time in the outdoors, and unless you live down south, you know, you're going to have to deal with it if you want to be out, particularly this time of year. And so I just want to really share some stuff that I've learned from basically living in cold weather, you know, for so many years. And another thing about it is when you're on the water in cold water, or when you're on the water in cold weather, it's sort of even a little bit more intense, because you know you're dealing with wind, moving in an open boat, and a lot of times it's usually colder around the water with that water air, with the wind blowing off the water itself. But I just want to share some stuff with you, maybe that you haven't heard before, more on the how to mentally deal with the cold weather. I mean, everybody knows how to dress. Everybody knows that, you know, you've got all the technology as far as layering goes different now. Everybody knows how to keep their head warm, and gloves, and so you've got a lot of different options as far as how to physically keep warm. And that's not what I'm talking about, because even if you have a tremendous amount of clothes on, you know, you're still going to be uncomfortable when it's like it is right now, 19 degrees, and you're moving, you know, 30, 40, 50 or more miles an hour in a boat, creating wind chills that are, you know, 0 degrees in that range there. So in order to be comfortable and in order to be focused on the water, you know, you have to learn how to mentally deal with that and how to mentally prepare for it. And one of the reasons why it's so important in fishing is because if you don't learn how to transcend the cold mentally, it's going to distract you from fishing. And you know, that's not so important if you're just out goofing around having a fun fishing time. But if you're serious about it and in a tournament competition, you know, yeah, you just, you know, you don't need that distraction. And you know, my wife and I go back and forth a lot of time, because she thinks that I like it too warm in the house, but then when we go out on the lake, she's always freezing to death, and it doesn't bother me at all to be out in the cold. So, you know, what is the difference there? And the difference is mentally preparing for being cold. And here's a couple things you really need to do on that. First of all, you have to learn how to take the energy away from the cold mentally. And how you do that is you have to basically accept the fact that it's okay to be cold. You don't have to be comfortable. And once that you make that mental shift and say, yeah, it's going to be cold, but it's okay, it's not that big of a deal, that's a big part of it. The second thing that you have to do is you can't fight the cold. It's like, and try this here's a good exercise for you to try. Say you're out tonight somewhere, and you live in an area that's cold, and it's down 20, 25 degrees, and the wind's blowing, and you have to park out in the parking lot, and you have to walk, you know, a little bit of a distance into the store. I see people all the time just shivering, and they're all hunched up, and you know, they're walking in like that. That's the worst thing you can do in the cold. What you need to do when you're in the cold is you have to make this mental shift and let the cold flow through you. Let it become part of you. So for an example, the exercise I'm talking about, the next time you're walking into the store and you see everybody else huddling up, just relax your whole body, take a deep breath, relax your whole body, and just don't tense any muscle up. Just completely relax, and just let that cold air, like it's just visually picture it just flowing right through your body and having no impact on you. And by not tensing up, excuse me, and not giving that cold the energy, by acknowledging the fact that it exists by tensing up, you release so much of that the mental part of being cold. And once you practice this, you know, it's it's so effective, particularly when you're out on the water. That's one of the things, like, this morning when I get out there, it's going to be 20 degrees, and we're running down the lake. I'm not going to be huddled all underneath my the console. I'm just going to just sit there and just sort of let that air just go right through me, and just not give it any energy like that. And yeah, it's not comfortable. Yeah, I'm going to be cold, but I'm not going to let that cold bother me. I'm not going to let the cold affect me mentally. I'm going to take that energy away from the cold that people give it. And don't underestimate the power of that, because being cold or being comfortable is just totally a state of mind. Here's an example I'll use. Like if we're out fishing today and it's cold, and all of a sudden the guys I'm with say they hook a giant largemouth, 8 or 10 pounder, I guarantee while they're when they see that fish, and once they're fighting that fish, they're not gonna think anything about being cold. If they're freezing to death and their hands are numb, it's not even going to be on their mind. Their adrenaline's going to be pumping. They're going to be focused on that fish. So our bodies have the ability to transcend so many physical situations that most people just give too much energy to. And one of the things you can do with that is you have to learn to command your body. You have to learn to have control of your body. And I'll say, for example, say if you have cold hands, one of the best things you can do for cold hands is basically visually imagine the blood that's in your body going to your hands, making your hands warm, and visualize and feel in your mind what it's like for your hands to slowly start warming up. And you can do this all over your body, and you're commanding your body to become warmer, and it works because learning to give your body those commands and to control your body a little bit like that is such a key to survival in any level, particularly in a cold water environment. You see, I was watching a video the other day where this dude was up in I can't remember where it was in Greenland or somewhere, where everything was total ice, but he was diving in ice caves in just a bathing suit, with no gear, no protection at all, just bare skin, diving in this frozen water for I don't know how long. But that's a prime example of somebody that learned how to take energy away from the cold and command his body to do certain things. So anyway, like I said, next time you're out there, just realize that you have the ability innately within inside of you to be more comfortable in cold weather. And it doesn't matter if you're fishing like here, or if you're in a survival situation where you have to do it, or whatever. Give your body more credit than what it has, and just rest in the fact that your body can do things that you don't think it can if you just mentally tell it to. And yeah, I don't like when I'm home at night, if it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm watching TV on the couch, I don't want to be cold. I want the house to be nice and toasty and warm, and I don't want to have to think about mentally telling myself to be warm. But when I'm outside in the cold, out in the weather, in situations that demand that, you have to learn how to do that. So anyway, give it a try. Like I said, learn to give your body some simple commands. Best trick I can give you right now is how you can initially start doing that. We'll talk about sending blood to your extremities. When you're driving to work this morning, or if you got some time this morning, just picture your hand getting warmer. Just visualize in your mind what that would feel like for that hand to start getting a little bit warmer, and visualize the blood starting to go into your hand and warm your hand up. And your body will respond to that once you start practicing that. And then once you get into a cold weather situation, you can learn to do that to your entire body, and you can stay not only warmer, but you can stay a lot more focused for the day. But anyway, give it a try. Like I said, something you probably haven't heard before. Guarantee it works. It's something that people have been doing for thousands of years, and it's And like I said, I don't like to do it because I do not like being cold. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd be in short pants and t-shirts all year long. But that's not the way it is. You know, living here in Southwest Missouri, we have 4 different seasons, so you gotta learn to deal with that. But anyway, gonna get out on the lake here in a little bit, sign off. Hope everybody has a good Friday, and we'll check in with you all later on. See ya.